Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This podcast here is episode 27 of a Podcast. If you're new to my channel, this is a podcast I run with a few friends of mine. I went to college with, primarily talking about Gopher football, college football, and possible NFL stuff. So if you're interested in that at all, go ahead and keep watching. But if you're not, you don't have to watch. You can just leave the video and just ignore it. It's one of the many videos I post to my channel. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And I'll see you guys next time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 28 of a Podcast. My name is Jason.
My name is Larranz. Wish we had a kicker.
And Griffin, I want Antoine Winfield Jr. cloned and on our defense yet again with another 4 years.
Can we just sneak them on there? You know what? Actually, can we sneak Kamal Martin too? Because fun fact, Kamal Martin had his first start for the Green Bay. You know who they is, and he had the highest grade on their defense.
Really?
He did. So can we get Kamal back?
You ball, Kamal.
You ball, Kamal.
Hey, that's good. Actually, that's good. So we're going to very quickly, recap the devastating loss against the Michigan Wolverines. Just to talk quickly about it, Tanner Morgan, our quarterback, threw 18 passes of 31, 197 yards, one touchdown, one interception. But he did completely was blindsided by that DN from Michigan that literally hit him hard, and the ball fumbled out of his hands. Returned for a touchdown. Mohamed Ibrahim was our lead rusher at 26 carries, 140 yards, and 2 tutties. So that's our Mohamed. And Rashad Bateman, number 0, had 9 receptions for 101 yards, despite being double and triple bracketed the entire night. So in terms of overall team stats, so Gophers have scored 24 points per game. They have allowed 49 points per game, 326 yards total rushing and passing, and they allowed 481 yards passing and rushing. But it's only a 1-game sample so far. Bad loss. I crashed before the fourth quarter because I was severely exhausted after a 27-hour drive to Naples, Florida. So I needed the sleep.
Well.
And Larranz did call me during halftime to vent our frustrations.
I did. I really did. I felt like the takeaway from a lot of it was the fact that it felt very different from the Wisconsin butt whooping we got at the end of the year last year, because at least for the most part, Wisconsin earned everything that they got. Michigan, we just made it easy on them. Not saying that the game would have been that we would have won or blew them out or anything, but the fact that they had 4 drives where they didn't have to go more than 30 yards, that's kind of ridiculous. Missing an easy touchdown where Tanner threw an interception instead of throwing to a wide open Chris Ottman crab going right up the rail. Yep, we just made it easy. Or going on it on that 4th down fake punt, where if the blocker in front of one Keith would have actually hit his block, that goes for 9 yards, and we probably score on that. So, we left a lot of points on the board, and we just overall made things very easy for Michigan. So,
Yep.
I mean, we were simply outcoached. Is I think what it came down to. Is Michigan as good as they looked on Friday? No. But they are still a very solid football team. Watching Joe Milton play quarterback, we could not QB contain him at all. And it kind of reminded me of when we played SDSU in the first game last year when we had Gibbs absolutely go insane on our defense. So I think we probably prefaced that last week, I think, a little bit with Joe Milton's agility and elusiveness. But he also proved how inexperienced and rusty he was simply overthrowing receivers, throwing behind receivers, in front of receivers. There was so much work. We had so much opportunity to absolutely make him scramble, cringe, but instead we left wide open holes. And it really shows, too, how much our defense misses the great minds of people like Antoine Winfield and Thomas Barber and Blake Cashman, Carter Coughlin, Winston DeLadbouder, those very steady, smart men that could easily help assign people to coverages and make sure that there were no blown coverages and 70-yard touchdown runs to keep it simple. We missed a lot. Michigan, we essentially gave Michigan more than they deserved, and this game should have been closer. But to say I'm surprised that we lost by this much, but I'm not disappointed at how we played. I think we just relied a little bit too much on what we normally do. It seems like Tanner was trying to force the ball to Rashad most of the game. But at least Muhammad can do work by himself. So
I will fully say that after that game, I would say at this very moment, Muhammad Ibrahim is the best running back in the Big Ten.
And people still won't know his name halfway through the season.
I knew he's gonna have 1,000 yards, and people are gonna be like, "Who's that?" Like, I did not expect the success that Muhammad Ibrahim had on the ground, especially once we figured out that Daniel Falele and Curtis Dunlap were out, and now apparently that's indefinitely, which isn't that much of news. But especially after we found out they weren't going to be there, I'm like, okay, Michigan's just going to say, we're not letting you run the ball. And they tried, but Muhammad does that thing where, he hits someone.
Locomotive.
And then, he keeps going, and then he hits somebody else. And then he keeps going again. Apparently that hasn't changed at all, which was cool.
Especially against a Don Brown defense, too.
Did you know that according to Pro Football Focus, 2 of the top 3 returning defensive line starters in the country were on Michigan's D-line?
Well, that explains it.
Quiddy Pay and Aiden Hutchinson. Did you know that Bruce Feldman's number 1 freak was on Michigan's defensive line? And that was Quiddy Pay. Did it matter to Muhammad? Not at all. Not at all. I wonder a lot of times, because Griffin, you said we were out coached. I wonder about that. Like, how much do you think we were out coached versus how much you think we simply did not execute? Like, the interception that Tanner Morgan threw, Chris Automobile was wide open. Like, he did a double move. Chris Automobile was wide open. We drove it all the way down the field to, the 5-yard line. And then Chris was also offsides. And then we drew it all the way down the field again. And Tanner misses Muhammad for a wide open touchdown. And then we go for the fake punt, and then the blocker, whoever was blocking for O'Keefe, missed. And that could have been a good 8 yards, and then we keep driving down the field. Like, I'm wondering how much it was we got out coached versus we just didn't execute.
It's hard to give percentages, but I would it's it's obviously both. It's just how much, and I don't know. It's because when one play happens, whatever happens next probably doesn't happen. It's just a whole sequence of events that you don't know.
I think it was a combination of both. But then again, I only saw 3/4, and then the rest I just looked at stats. So, the one some positives though. One of my favorite plays that we added to repertoire, which we didn't do last year, I think two tight ends. Like on the first drive when we blocked the punt and made and 2 plays to score a touchdown, we used our tight ends, which I'm all for. Even though it's only Cole Keefe, it wasn't the Brevin Span 4 train that we're all hopped on. It's still something that we haven't saw much with in our first game. It was all Rashad Bateman and Ty Johnson in the run game.
What if Brevin Spanford is the Zach Annexted of tight ends, and Cole Keefe
Is it Tanner Morgan?
is Tanner Morgan? What if we are on the wrong hype train? Because the one pass that got thrown Brevin Spanford's way, the man dropped it. And all I'm trying to say is, what if we've been on the wrong hype train and we needed to be with like Captain Cole instead of the Ford
or Captain Witham?
Captain Witham. Like we done seen Bryce Witham just or was that Jake Paulson?
No, it's Bryce Witham.
Bryce Witham with the one hand. We done seen that happen.
Did we use Seth Green at all at Wildcat?
We did.
I didn't see him unless I missed
it.
Is
he ever gonna throw the ball again?
I'm
Ask Mike Sanford and Matt Simon.
I'm hoping.
I sure hope so.
I'm hoping.
because
if you have a listed wide receiver that has a better recruiting portfolio than Tanner Morgan coming in, and you don't use him to also throw, you've used this man as a wide receiver, you've used him as a tight end, but his strength is throwing the dang ball.
I love how defenses aren't even trying to hide it anymore whenever he's on the field. Like, they just come loading everybody in the box. And I'm like, I understand how they're quote unquote setting things up for later on. But if you're not going to use it against Michigan, when are you going to use it? But that's none of my business.
We only have 7 games left at this point, so.
Heck, and who knows what's going to be happening in Wisconsin by the time we get there.
True. Then that second play, which I think we only used once or twice, so we had 2 tailbacks in the backfield. So on Tanner's right was Mohamed Ibrahim, our boy, and then right behind Tanner, lined up at fullback, was our kick or punt one of our returners, Cam Wiley, who had some action last year. They snapped the ball. Tanner hands off to Cam. Mohamed is now the fullback, and he just mauled that D-line, allowing Trey to get Trey or Cam, because it was 2 separate plays, 9 or 10 yards for the first down. And I'm like, I love that. I love it.
Muhammad being able to hurt someone without fearing losing the ball is a beautiful thing. Like, truly, poetry in motion. You love to see it.
His arms, his biceps, the size of the football. He's got all the padding in the world. It ain't coming loose.
It's not coming loose. Oh, gosh.
Wait, actually.
Also, did we forget what a slant pass was?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think we forgot how to get creative in calling them.
Or maybe like, is it perhaps that we really underestimate how brilliant Tyler Johnson was at slants?
Look at him at Tampa.
Look at him in Tampa,
It
right?
was a
Like
slant pass for a touchdown.
right over the middle, where he always is. And much like most of last year, he was being held, and they threw a flag, and it didn't matter because he's Tyler Johnson, and that's how this works. Uh, I don't know. There's that. I agree with Griffin or Jason. I don't know which one of you said, where it's like, it felt like Tanner was determined to throw to Rashad Agent Zero Bateman no matter what was happening. He was throwing to Rashad. Now, Rashad called him, and Rashad did his usual thing where he does like one or two ridiculous catches where you're like, what is happening? But I swear Michigan's defense was treating Rashad the same way Pittsburgh Steelers defense was treating Derrick Henry this past weekend, where whenever Rashad touched the ball, it was seek and destroy. They were sending, like, when he touched the ball, 2, 3, 4 dudes were just like, kill him, kill him, kill him. Which,
And what happened a couple times when Tanner and the offense decided to throw the ball deep is they couldn't cover him. He still got the ball, and they throw yellow flags. And it's like, don't you guys want 3 yards? Throw it in the vicinity because they're going to hold him because they can't do anything.
They can't do nothing. They put that one really big catch when dude was wrapped around his neck and he still adjusted back to the ball and got it. It was like a 40-yard pass. They put that 5-star safety, Daxton Hill, and they said, you're going to cover Rashad one-on-one. And Rashad said, you sure? you sure?
You sure?
You sure? Is that what you're gonna okay? I'm okay with that. I'm just like, I'm going to need some other non-Rashad Bateman person to get really good at catching slants in the intermediate game.
So, in your eyes, is it not Chris Bell then? Because I think the way he's been playing is still more of a wide receiver 3.
Yes, Chris Bell is like.
Is that Is that a right assessment? Because like that's what I see. Like same with Demetrius, they never got over the hump of being the 3rd or 4th guy on the roster or on the depth chart to get on the field and catch passes. Of course, they have come in clutch. I will say that. Like Fresno State last year, Demetrius Douglas at Georgia Southern. But besides like the one off play, which was during the Penn State game when Chris had excellent blocking and caught that ball on a slant for a touchdown, that was perfect. But other than that, like a lot of the times he would have to readjust because either he got too far. Like remember that pass that he got from Tanner earlier in the Michigan game, where we scored the second touchdown. Tanner. I think he underthrew it, but possibly I think he in his read he's like, oh, Chris would be there, but Chris overshot it and had to readjust. So I don't think Chris will be our wide receiver 1 or our back when the Vikings had Stephon Diggs and Thielen. Someone that I know called Adam and Thielen or Thielen and Diggs being like 1A and 1B or 1A 1A. Like there's no 1 or 2 in that roster. I like Ty and Rashad were for me was like 1A 1B. Like you can't, you cover one, you let the other one ball out or eat you. I don't think Chris can be that. Like he can be as okay too if he steps up, but I don't think he'll get past that hump.
I missed a part of the game, the first quarter, because I was listening on the radio. But did they ever throw Chris his bubble screen?
They did not.
They did not.
That hurt.
I feel so like the only thing I would push back on is I don't know what Chris is capable of because we weren't trying to throw him the ball. Like the one time we were like, yo, let's throw Chris the ball, he went up and took a 45-yard catch. The one interception Tanner threw, Chris was wide open. Like, that's a touchdown. I'm not ready to say what Chris can't be because I almost feel like having Rashad back is a positive and a negative. And a negative in the sense that it provides whoever the quarterback is, but particularly Tanner Morgan, with a crutch. A crutch in that, as Griffin said earlier, throw it up, it's free yards, right? And Chris is just like, yo, but I'm open though. Right? Like, I'm open. There's no one here.
Yeah, let me pull up the box score here. So Rashad was our lead receiver at 9 receptions for 101. Like, again, Tanner force feeding. Chris only had 1 reception for that 45-yard in the late first quarter.
Yeah.
And there was none of him in the run game either. No end around.
Nope. Cole Keefe was our number 3 at 2 receptions for 29 yards. And one was the touchdown early in the game. So, like, we used some of our tight ends. Like, Cole Keefe as a receiver was a factor. Like, they weren't expecting him and Chris.
But 197 yards receiving is not going to win you many games in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
No.
Now. And then you got Mo Ibrahim catching 4 for 17 as well.
Now, to be fair, it should have been 5 for a touchdown if Tanner wouldn't have. How tall is Mo? Like 5'9"?
I think he's 5'9", 5'10", yeah.
Yep.
Like, if Tanner wasn't treating him like he had Tyler Johnson hops, because the dude was standing there in the end zone and to just overshot the heck out of him. Now, like, we're saying all this, but let's be clear, right? Like, this is Don Brown's defense. The worst defense he ever put out at Michigan was last year's. Do you know where his defense was ranked last year?
Was it like 19?
80 some?
11.
Yeah.
1 under us at 10. So, like, that was the worst Don Brown could do. Every other year, it's been 3 or higher. So, like, the one thing that I'll say is, okay, how many defenses are we actually terrified of who's left on our schedule? Because I see one.
Wisconsin?
Yep.
Maybe
every
Iowa?
other. I saw what Purdue did to them without Rondale Moore and their coach. Now I'm good. And you want to talk about force feeding someone? I think they gave David Bell. I think he got like 16 catches for 130 yards. Like, they were just like, just throw the bell, just throw the bell, and Iowa couldn't stop it.
I have a third team, but I'm not sure you would agree.
Who?
Northwestern.
Oh crap!
They slaughtered Maryland last week.
If there's, I don't even know if there's a word to like up the slaughter because they did more than that. They they completely obliterated their entire program in one game.
I remember starting watching it and people were like this. It's gonna be Talia Tungavailoa's first game, and I just remember the first frame that they did on Pat Fitzgerald's face, and Pat Fitzgerald looked like he knew exactly what was about to happen. Yeah, Northwestern. Yeah, I knew last year was like an abomination. Like last year,
But that was their off
did
year.
you did you know that Northwestern still put together a top 25 defense last year,
Yeah.
despite having the worst offense in the history of the Big Ten?
They kept pace with Ohio State last year. I remember that.
Like they didn't need a good offense. They just needed somebody to be competent. They are what is the word? They are Aldi's brand Georgia.
And they have it. They have a quarterback in Payne Ramsey from Indiana.
Peyton Ramsey is Stetson Bennett. They are the same person.
To me, that's the biggest part Northwestern was missing is they needed a dual threat quarterback for them to be effective. And Pat Fitzgerald knew that. He knew after going 3-9 after the year before going 8-4 or whatever that
they won 10 wins, then 9 wins, then 10 wins before that.
With Clay Forson.
Like Pat Fitzgerald knew his job was safe, and they knew he was coming back. But it's simply Peyton Ramsey doing his thing. The defense we don't have to talk about because they always consistent.
Always good. Always good. Even though they don't got a DB who can cover Rashad, as we saw last year, but that's none of my business. Continue.
When they threw the same, when they had the same call 2 times in a row and they still couldn't stop him in the end zone. Oh, okay.
We were just being disrespectful. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, so that's Northwestern. Are we gonna move on to Maryland? Speaking of the dilapidated corpse. Northwestern.
Yeah. So here is our opponent, the Maryland Terrapins. Like us, we're both are 0-1. But key things about their stats so far. So their quarterback, Tolua Tagovailoa, was 14 of 25 for 94 yards and 3 INTs. No touchdowns. Their lead running back, Jay Funk. I don't know what his first name. I'm just reading off
I love
ESPN.
that name.
6 carries for 35 yards.
McFarland, so it don't matter.
That's almost 6 yards a carry. I'll take that.
Yep. And then their wide receiver, Nick DeGanaro, had 3 receptions for 42 yards. So their team stats, 3 points per game. 40,
Did you actually just say that? You didn't even have to announce that.
Can we skip this stat line because that's just gonna be embarrassing. We don't need to.
Okay.
We don't need to do that.
We can say Tagovailoa's rushing stats 3 for -16.
Why we do that? I don't understand.
So the Maryland game is going to be at Maryland tomorrow night, Friday night, October the 30th, the day before Halloween, at 6:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPN.
Mo is going to have so much fun tomorrow.
He's from Maryland, and they didn't offer him. Someone's gonna die. Did you know that their their leading pass rusher and their running back too also will be out with the Rona? Someone's gonna die. That's what's gonna happen tomorrow. I'm saying that knowing full well that we might lose this game.
Yeah. So the betting odds has us favored 19.5. Over under is 61. Would you guys agree? I'm taking the under.
I'm not taking the under. Like I said, we might lose this game. I'm not saying this is a get right game to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by a get right game?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
We're just gonna take our frustration out on Maryland. Now that's on offense. This is an offensive get right game. Why this game might be close is I don't know if the defense is capable of getting it right. Especially considering whatever the heck our safeties were doing.
What,
I
Jordan
don't know
Howden
what our
and Tyler Nubin?
mainly Tyler Newman.
But
Tyler Newman.
he's so good at tackling, though. He was our leading tackler.
Yeah, it's really good to be your leading tackler when you're chasing somebody down after they're running for 25 yards. Like, dude, here's the thing. Like, I looked at some of the next gen stats, and they only targeted our corners 6 times during the game. 1 catch happened, right? So think about how many points they put up in the fact that only 1 catch happened on Coney Durr or Benjamin St. Juste. They were like 7 times against our safeties. All 7 of them got caught. That's ridiculous. And then it was like 5 out of 7 against our linebackers. That's a recipe for getting blown out. Like a team who's just like, yo, we're just going to attack everything that's not their corners.
Ooh, they released a trailer for Maryland's game.
Is it spooky?
The official Golden Gopher fan.
Looks like they're wearing the gold helmets, like the yellow gold, with the white jerseys.
We gonna lose. Go great. I don't like those white jerseys. Nothing ever goes well in the white jerseys. Oh gosh.
No, I'm trying to find the depth chart because I'm trying to see if our specialists are back. Because the thing that scared the crap out of me the last game was that we had the 3rd string punter punting the game, who's also a walk-on, and not like the walk-on like, you know, Justin Herbert, who, you know, earned that scholarship. Like, he earned it. And then, of course, Brock Walker was in for kicking duties, and we can see why. Because I miss Grant Ryerson. I do.
Yeah. Can we get like a trombone player to kick the ball off? Like, they're tall and got some like lanky legs. I think they could get a little bit of distance on it.
They could probably squib it as far as Walker would.
they could probably get it pretty far. Like,
we have some soccer players in the marching band.
PJ, look, hit up Professor McCann. Get yourself a kicker.
I remember.
Kick off as a penalty kick, and all those players, you got to kick it around them.
Look, you know what? At this point, I'm honestly like, just kick it out of bounds. I don't care. Just kick it out of bounds.
Give them the 40 yards or whatever, and just
remember joking back then, when we were still in band. Like, a few old saying that when we were still in band, if the marching band became its own football team in the Big Ten, Prof McCann would be head coach, Skeeter Burrows would be offensive coordinator, Sampo would be defensive coordinator, someone will be special teams. Oh, the Kellys, Kelly Lima and Kelly Koski, and then
Dr. Sample as a defensive coordinator would be fun.
Every time we get a sack, he'd just be like, oh gosh.
No, if Skeeter's OC, he'll be like throwing like everything into the playbook just so we can see if it works or not.
He's stepping down the sideline as you're running to the end zone.
What would happen if Joe Walsh was our offensive coordinator?
He'll leave us too close to each other, like on the line of scrimmage.
Darn right. Bunch sets the entire game.
I formation.
I formation. We're running the wing tee, guys. Oh, God.
No, but what back then when we were still students, who would you put at quarterback? Because like if you're saying trombone, wait, no, actually, there was trumpets. Remember James Butler and Jack Farnan, who were friends with Mitt and Santoso? Like I remember coming into band rehearsal and they would just be like, like kicking field goals and kickoffs, just because they learn from them, and like James and Jack can make some pretty good field goals, so I'll put them as specialists. But I'm not sure
I
about
don't
everything
know,
else.
Griffin. You right tackle, so
You know, I
like
always
hate
wanted
to
to be a
break it
tight
to
end,
you,
though.
huh?
I wanted to be a tight end.
You are right tackle, or rush in, whichever one you want. But you gonna be right tackle, and you were going. Actually, you could be a fun nose tackle too. That could be fun.
No,
Griffin.
Connor
No,
Jensen would be tight end.
no,
That'd be fun.
I'd get too jumpy on, I'd get too jumpy on the defensive side of the ball.
That's fair. You're just like cook it. Speaking of the defensive side of the
Larry Smith
ball,
be
has
calling
anyone
Newton going infractions on me all week.
does anyone know why they put Boye Mafe in on like a third of the snaps? Is there a reason for this? Because he was doing Boye Mafe things early, and then Thomas Rush was there, and I was like, "Who are you?"
He didn't get hurt, right?
Not from what I saw.
Pitch count.
Interesting.
Giving everyone playing time, maybe they still think it's up for grabs.
It's not up for
Linebacker.
grabs. It's Boye's time, man.
Linebacker for sure up for grabs, though.
What's up for grabs?
Linebacker next to Mariano, you got Cody Lindenberg.
But he was the only dude they put in there outside of like Josh Ani.
It's up for grabs.
Where was Don Willis and something Gordon the Third, James Gordon the Third, or whatever his name is? Where was them dudes at?
Yeah, don't know, man. Okay, Larranz. So we're wearing the Fresno State uniforms. So gold helmet, gold pants, white jerseys.
God.
Remember that was the combo when we won our last game in Maryland.
Yeah, but Antoine Winfield Jr. isn't here to return
True.
pick six.
And we also had Rodney Smith and Drew Wolotarski and Ty Johnson, so never mind.
We should have just worn our anthracite and chrome again, and
Seriously.
Coney Durr would have had a pick six. And
Exactly. Like, I feel like that would be
fall into his hands.
Just get the ball in his hands, and he's going. He has pretty good speed. Are we doing keys to the game? Are we doing that? Is that happening?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm still trying to find the depth chart.
Score quickly, score often, run the ball, and throw to anyone who isn't named Rashad Bateman, because someone not named Rashad Bateman is eventually going to have to put the fear of God into defenses. So there's that. That's it.
Stop third downs. Maryland force the fourth downs on defense, and give the ball to Muhammad. The end.
Broad for the offense, punch him in the throat, get right game for them. So Muhammad doing Muhammad things. Use that package I said, like remember, put Muhammad at fullback, and like Cam and Trey Potts or Bryce Williams run it.
And use him in the pass game.
Yeah.
Use Muhammad in the pass game.
Just give him the ball. I don't think that's complicated. Just give Muhammad the ball and let him hurt somebody. It should not be that complicated.
Use our tight ends again. So preferably Bryce Witham and Cole Keith. Captain Cole.
Look, until the right side of the line knows how to block.
Yeah.
Y'all are some blocking tight ends until future reference.
And Tanner, this is the game where like you should stop throwing to Rashad every time. Use Chris, use Cole, use Bryce, use anyone that's not named Agent Zero. And then also step up on the O-line. Larranz and I talked about this on our phone call that Saturday night. I used to hark on this guy, Sam Schluter, but he was our best left tackle, our best tackle that night. Like
Dude's going up against Aiden Hutchinson. Like, and he held his own. Like, what do you want him to do, man?
Despite having a fresh left guard on his right. So I think overall O-line has to get better, is my major thing, but offense punch him in the throat. Defense, I just want to see improvement, either be in the backfield or a pass rush. I'm hoping for the pass rush because if we poach Chad Wilt from Cincinnati for a reason, I better see results on that D-line. So that's what fingers crossing towards my key for the defense. At least improve something. And my vote is on the D-line. So we good with the keys of the game?
Yeah.
So score predictions.
I'm going 45 32. That's an odd number. I don't like it. 45-30 Minnesota.
30 to 13.
You telling me they gonna keep our offense to 30 points?
Sir, it's 2020.
You right.
I sure hope not, but Lord.
Lord. Father
So, 42. $41.
Wow.
No, actually, no. 43, 41. We score a 2-point conversion to end the game.
Yo, he eats too much clock for that shit. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'll change it. 42, 27. PJ will try to run the clock, but he'll be like, let's shoot for 50, and then doesn't get it.
We still had 35 minutes time of possession against Michigan.
Oh, really?
Because Muhammad. I'm gonna keep saying, like, yes, Michigan beat the crap out of us, but don't get it twisted. We were running the ball right down the field. We just couldn't get it in the end zone. Like, it was like the Iowa game, but Michigan had a competent offense. Like, that's what this game was. We were going right down the field, and we couldn't get it in the end zone. Gosh. What if we lose? What if we lose this game?
Put Zach Anningstead in the quarterback?
Look, all I'm saying is this.
Cole Kramer, you're in.
Look, wait, hold up. Hold up. Jacob Clark.
I'll take Jacob Clark.
Get him.
Jacob Clark, Harry Van Dyne. No more, though.
I legitimately think, and this is no offense to Tanner Morgan, I legitimately think the Michigan game would have been closer if Zach Anningstead was the quarterback. Not because Zach Anningstead is the better quarterback. Oh, no.
You don't have film on him.
Well, no, that's not it. For me, it's the fact that Zach Anningstead's entire shtick was, I'm going to throw the ball really, really far, and somebody's going to catch it. And considering what Griffin said, where every time we threw the ball deep to Rashad, he called it. Right? Like, I feel like Zach's just looking downfield. And the same thing, the interception that Tanner threw, I'm thinking Zach would have thrown a touchdown. And you know what? Since our defense sucks and our punting was horrible. Let him throw the ball 50 yards a throw and have it be interception. That's basically a punt. That's a really good punt.
Facts.
Oh, I do have a key in a game that I missed. Shit. Our specialist. I'm scared. Try not to let our punt.
If Muhammad's running the ball.
Yeah, so please do not let our punter out there. Brock Walker.
See our punter.
Brock Walker. You better do something to step up your kicking game there.
Wait, do we know if anyone's back?
So I believe Grant Ricey, Michael Lance, and our Aussie kicker, Mark Crawford, were out. I still cannot find that depth chart.
Because BJ's not gonna release that crap.
Yeah. Not this year.
I'm gonna assume until week 4 we're gonna have the same punter.
Yep. Unfortunately.
But you know.
But do you want to talk about Wisconsin now having doubled more than 12 COVID cases now?
No, not really. They're stupid. Do we hate? So I'm in a weird place because I kind of want to hate Nebraska, but also this is all Wisconsin's fault. Yeah. And I hate Wisconsin on principle anyway.
Yeah, I would say that.
Because, like, they aren't canceling the game because of actual Big Ten protocols, because they would have needed 12 cases. Because what I've seen, it's 8 players and 8 coaches.
Yep.
So, since they don't have 12 players out, which would constitute a red, they are canceling just cause. Not just cause. Like, I feel like this is the right thing to do, but I almost feel like this should be a forfeit and a Nebraska win. And the reason is because who did they lose? So we know Jack Cohn is out. Then they lose the chosen one, Graham Mertz, who is just as good as I thought he was, maybe even better. And then they lose Chase Wolf, who would have been their third string.
And Paul Chryst, their head coach, is also positive.
And their head coach. And their quarterback would have been this dude named Danny Vandenboom, who's basically a fullback. So, like, it seems to me like they didn't want to play a game without a quarterback for me.
Yep.
But see, in my, like, why are they worried about who they're going to have a quarterback? Because it's just a plug them in and you just run your system.
Because as if the one thing wasn't clear during the Illinois game, which is why I say once again, Muhammad Ibrahim is, in my opinion, clearly the best running back in the Big Ten right now.
There's no debate on that, sir.
Huh? What'd you say?
There's no debate. Keep going.
Okay, yeah. But I thought you said there is a debate. I'm like, who? Anyway.
Isaiah Bowser. No, I'm kidding.
Never met her.
Yo, Atlanta's up 16-14 against the Panthers halftime.
Who?
Thursday Night Football. Atlanta's
Who's
up
playing?
Atlanta and Carolina.
16 to what?
16-14. Falcons on top. Halftime.
Oh, it's cool. It's prime choking season. But, like, no, Wisconsin doesn't have a running back. Like, they could not run the ball against Illinois. Like, I watched that game. They could not run the ball. Not the way that they normally are able to run the ball.
With a Jonathan Taylor or Melvin Gordon.
With a Jonathan Taylor, Melvin Gordon, Ron Dane, James White, you name it, put them in the backfield, they do things. They weren't doing that. And I'm looking at Nebraska's D-line, which held their own against Ohio State. And I'm like, I just don't think they feel like doing that. The thing is, they now have a very, very competent quarterback in Graham Mertz, and I just don't think they have the dudes at tailback right now. So
Didn't you say they had like a 4-star recruit though?
Jalen Berger,
Did he play at all? I didn't
he did
see.
not.
That explains why. Unless they really want to redshirt him, but you get 4 games, or this is an off year anyway, so like I think they'll allow it.
They can play anyone they want, but it doesn't look like they just don't have the dudes right now. So that's interesting. It's Wisconsin. Screw them. Yeah.
But, I thoroughly enjoyed that Purdue win over Iowa.
David Bell doing David Bell things.
Is Rondo out with an injury, or was it something else?
He is not practicing either.
Despite opting back in, right?
Indeed. Question, hot take, and I wonder if this is like too much or too little. Here's my hot take. If we lose to Maryland, Rashad Bateman opts right back out. Because if he's not going to play Ohio State, because he already played the best DBs he's going to play all year outside of Ohio State, and he put up his 100 yards or whatever. But if he is on a bad team that's not going to the Big Ten championship, because his entire shtick was like, I'm coming back to help, bring a title to the city. Even though we all know what bring a title to the city means, it really just means get to the Big Ten championship game to be the sacrificial lamb for Ohio State. But if he's on a team that's not that, what's the point in him staying? Because every single team is going to treat him just like Michigan did. He catches the ball, seek, and destroy. What is the purpose of him staying?
Yeah, it makes sense. But the thing is that looking at what his conversation, like the press conferences or like the tweets that he has on social media, it seemed like he came back for his teammates instead of over draft stock.
Like, I hear you, but I think now, and I could see, especially on that one really long pass that he caught, how frustrated he was.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he realized, when we said every single team's game plan is going to be as followed, stop Rashad Bateman, that's their game plan. I don't think he realized to what degree that was actually coming.
Yeah.
Because they were going after him, man. And it was not okay. So
you could see it, and you could kind of hear it in some of those lip jawings after.
Every time he caught the ball, he's getting up and he's just like, "What?" Right? Dude didn't know, and it's clear to me that at this very moment, at least in the Michigan game, I don't want to do a generalization. It seemed to me that no one else was ready to step up and put the fear of God into defenses in regards to wide receivers. No one else was doing that. Mm-hmm. And if no one else is going to do that, that means Rashad's just going to get beat to hell every single game. What's the point of him being here?
So does a sidetrack. Rondale is listed on their depth chart for their next game against the Illini.
Oh yeah, we get to see whatever that's gonna be.
Yeah, so wide receiver X, Milton Wright, Z is David Bell, and then slot is Rondale. But that's just the depth chart because he was listed on their last depth chart and he still didn't play. So I don't know. But yeah, continue where we left off.
Yeah, so we'll we'll see. We're gonna win, guys.
Actually, will Mike Loxley's tenure end like how he did last time he was in Maryland?
I hope.
I feel like they're going to give Mike Loxley this year, next year, and it's going to be at the end of next year. It's 8 wins or bye.
Also,
I mean,
please rank Rutgers.
rank Rutgers, rank Arkansas. Well, actually, Arkansas might be ranked now that I think about it. But, Maryland to me falls under the same category as, whoa, did Jason disappear? No, there's Jason. Not Rutgers. Maryland, to me, I look at them the same way I look at Georgia Tech. And what I mean by that is that there are certain schools where it does not make any sense that they're bad. Georgia Tech is in Atlanta, and they're bad. How? How, Jason? How can you be in Atlanta? You can throw a rock out your window, and you're going to get a 5-star defensive end. How is Georgia Tech bad, right? And then Maryland, the DMV area, and literally just Maryland. Did you know that the top 20 players in Maryland back in 2018 were 4 or 5 stars? The top 20 players. Do you know who came from Maryland? Chase Young, Dwayne Haskins, Patrick Surtain, right? All of these dudes coming from Maryland. And the top 20 dudes from Maryland in 2018 did not go to Maryland. The number 1 player in the country from last year was from Maryland, and he's at Clemson.
We also have our own Maryland guys.
We got Muhammad right there. To me, it makes no sense that Maryland is bad. If PJ Fleck went to Maryland, he could build a freaking dynasty.
If he went to Maryland, right, as a coach?
If he went to Maryland and he figured out how to brand Maryland to Maryland players, Maryland, they don't have to, of all of the states in the Big Ten, Maryland is the only university that would not have to leave their state to put together a top 15 class in the country. They wouldn't have to leave their state, dude. That's ridiculous. Maryland being bad makes no sense to me. That's my soapbox for today. I'm done. I want it to be bad right now so that we can, stomp a mud hole in them. But, I'm rooting for Maryland. I really am. I want the Terps to be good.
After that DJ Durkin debacle?
Yeah, I really do. They deserve it. They deserve being good.
They've had several good players on very bad teams.
Stephon Diggs,
DJ Moore. DJ Moore was on that freaking Maryland team. How the heck did that happen? I will never know. Ty Johnson. Anthony McFarland. They've had dudes. They just can't do anything with them.
Or that D-line that played us the last 2-3 years, too. Just saying. No, but for me, I think I didn't watch the Maryland game, but for sure, I was following that Rutgers game very closely, and Rutgers just manhandled Michigan State on and off that field in East Lansing.
It makes me so happy. I loved every second of it.
Hey, Griff, remember being in Rutgers? You saw that into their tailgate. It says, "Hire Shiano now."
Oh, I still got that picture.
Hey, let Rutgers have found themselves again, technically, a competent coach. Y'all. What if, Jonathan Taylor, New Jersey. Jalen Berger, New Jersey. What if these dudes start going to Rutgers in New Jersey?
Bring the McCourty brothers in for the defensive assistance. I'm saying.
Yo, Rutgers winning the East in 2023 confirmed?
That's a hot take.
No. I'm completely kidding. I looked at Ohio State's recruiting class that they're putting together, and I realized they aren't recruiting to beat the Big Ten. They're actually recruiting to beat God. So that's where we are. They're recruiting to beat Alabama, Clemson, Thanos, a nuclear bomb, the laws of physics, etc.
Hey, Indiana was a lit ending too.
Man.
It seemed like Kirk Shiraka was trying to treat Sean Clifford like he was
With Tanner
Morgan. And I was like, bruh, that ain't Tanner Morgan, homie. Like, you out here having him throw
that's
precision.
Sean Clifford. That's Sean Clifford,
like,
boy.
he was out here having him throwing, like, precision and timing-based throws, and I'm like, you got the wrong dude, homie. I'm like, you better have Sean Clifford run the ball. Also, how did freaking Penn State choke that game away? All the running back had to do was get on the ground. That's all he had to do. Did it occur to him midway through the run that no one was touching him and that he quite literally, walked into the end zone?
I don't think it did.
Because he looked back. Like, he didn't cross the end zone. He didn't cross it. He looked back before he crossed it. And he could see James Franklin throwing every single thing and every teammate saying to get down. And he proceeded to walk into the end zone.
Yep.
Idiot. Anyway.
Wait, is the running back a new guy or is he a veteran?
Noah Kane, I believe. No, I think the guy who made the mistake wasn't Noah Kane, because Noah Kane apparently tore his ACL.
But yeah, Penn State totally choked that game, and Michael
kudos
Penix,
to Indiana.
Yeah, kudos. Tom, I know I made a chat on Tom Allen off the air, but the way how he turned around Indiana, who, what's funny, he was a defensive coordinator for the last coach, the head coach who got into off-field problems, who was fired for 2 6-6 seasons to rebuild that and bring it back up. And I'm like, Tom Allen, kudos to you. You're making Indiana a decent Big Ten East contender, either be in the middle or better, competing against Penn State and top programs. I think the last coach who did that was probably Jerry DiNardo, who's now on the Big Ten Network.
Okay.
So
that was their first win against a top 10 team in 33 years.
Yep. For us, when we beat Penn State last year, was that when Glenn Mason 0-2? Was that right?
Yeah, when he went to Ohio State and handed them their head.
Yep.
He said, here's your head. Or maybe that was when he went to number 1 Michigan and handed them their head. Glenn Mason did that a lot of times. He would just hand some top 10 team their head and then get blown out by Iowa.
Yep. Hey, remember?
Sounds about right.
He did beat Alabama. And we're still 1-0.
Take Alabama, hand them their head.
And then we blew it in his last season with us because we had no pass defense.
I'm not gonna lie, Glenn Mason should have still been the coach for Minnesota. I don't know what we thought we were doing firing Glenn Mason.
And then get Tim Brewster. I know you don't like him.
That's a curse word to me. I'm not even from Minnesota, and that's a curse word to me.
I'm still surprised he managed to get a job after getting fired. I'm like, Jimbo hired him.
Bruh, this podcast is gonna go 2 hours. What the heck?
So let's end it right here. this mad history at Funky Brewster, but
Freaking Tim Brewster, I swear.
So this is going to end episode 28 of Open Podcast. Thank you for listening to our former bandmates, current friends, family, and our special listeners who've been with us from the beginning. To those that hate us, F you.
We got haters?
Yeah. Is that there?
Yo, that's dope, man. Love to see it.
iTunes listeners, but doesn't matter. But thank you for listening to us and our antics as we are. But thank you for your time. And my name is Jason.
My name is Larranz. Somebody tackle somebody.
And Griffin.
And we'll see you guys next week for another podcast. And
Oh.
Oh.